I am in beautiful Deming, New Mexico, picking up my friend Lee. He is got all of the cool stuff. My buddy Lee and I are heading to Maricopa, Arizona to meet with Mo. Mo Sheldon is the man behind Moment Paramotors, and he's also the guy who creates the Arizona Flying Circus, which is one of the biggest events of the year. We have just arrived. This place is super, super cool. We're right at the end of one of the runways. We're pretty far off of I-10 here in Maricopa. You go through some beautiful desert area, and here at Mo's hangar at the end of this runway is a nice little grass patch for me to lay down and take a nap. Beautiful day. Something is making a noise. Look at this. He's got these little things in the ground here. Somebody tell me in the comment what the hell these things are for. Mo, pleasure to meet you.
Hello.
What an awesome spot.
Isn't this cool?
Yeah. You built this.
I did.
Wow.
I did.
What attracted you to this area?
The airport. So we have a flying site right over there that's the best site in Arizona.
What's the name of this airport?
So this is owned by an Indian reservation called Ak-Chin, AK-CHIN.
Do you fly any general aviation, or are you just in paramotoring?
I do. I have a sport pilot license with a hang glider trike.
Okay.
But paramotor's my passion. There's something magical about flying slow and taking off on your feet, and the safety. There's something to be said about having a wing that can reinflate after a collapse.
Right. Well.
Right. Yes. Yes. And I wasn't trying to say anything, but
I'm like,
make fun of him.
Where is this place that you do the Arizona Flying Circus? How far is that from here?
It is 19.7 miles straight west.
Oh, okay.
Straight west.
Wow.
And it's a little private airport out in the middle of the desert. It offers us the ability to be away from
even this
hustle and bustle. Welcome to Mo's Toy Shop.
Wow. This is so cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of eye candy everywhere.
This is like a museum of paramotoring and flying things.
Right? From the outside, it's like a small metal box, but you come in here and there's a lot going on.
Oh, shit.
What the hell happened?
See, it just sits right there.
Oh, shit.
When the light's off, you just see a snake, and then boom. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not afraid of snakes.
My main focus over the last 25 years has been teaching paramotor.
Yeah.
I started into the manufacturing realm about 15 years ago, and I built this trike here called the Grasshopper. You may have heard about it, and I've sold a lot of them.
This one's ready for the beach too, huh?
It is. It's a great trike, really strong, light. The dilemma I have is hard to build, and I designed a paramotor recently called the Moment.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to talk more about that.
Definitely. So how long have you been building the Moment paramotors?
I'm working on the design for over 10 years now. This is my first prototype up here.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And what inspired you to want to make a paramotor when there are paramotors available?
Yeah, there's a lot of options available in the world for paramotors, and I've been selling a lot of paramotors. The biggest one was I couldn't find anything that travels well. And I do a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
I've been to the Bahamas, I've been to Colombia, I've been to Fiji, been to France, all over Mexico. So I like to travel with a paramotor.
Right.
And it's not just being able to break it down, but when you travel, especially in third world, you put it on a vehicle that's got these no suspension on roads. Right. It's got to handle some abuse. There's a lot of paramotors out there, but none of them I could find travel well.
Right, okay.
The other one is, as I teach, I'm looking for something that would be tough, that would hold up to beginner abuse.
Sure.
And so I started tinkering. A big impetus for me was I saw people getting hurt, mainly on ground starts. A lot of the units out there are not suitable for ground start.
Right.
I designed the Moment to be safe to ground start.
What makes it safe?
Well, I can show you. So let's pull one of these out.
Yeah.
This is kind of fun. This was one of the earlier prototypes.
What has evolved since you created this one?
So we're on version 3.
Okay.
This was version 1. Well, I mean, I guess that was really version 1, but
that's version 0.
That's version 0, right. So version 1, there were a lot of things that didn't fit right. I made 10 of these. And it was really my test. I wanted to see how well it worked.
What's going on with the red?
So this was my attempt to do torque compensation.
Okay, yeah.
And it works, but not great.
Okay.
And so the newer models have torque compensation on the arms.
And you went with a double hoop.
It gives much greater strength to the cage.
Okay.
That's the first one. The second one it does is it keeps a lot of the lines and stuff out of the prop.
Right.
There was an incident recently in southern Utah flying.
Okay.
Where we had some really bad weather, and several of the pilots had major collapses. One of them, the lines, he had a single ring cage, the lines went right into the prop.
Wow, yeah.
And caught up in the prop, and he threw his reserve, luckily.
Wow.
That wouldn't have happened on this rig.
Interesting.
So there's a huge safety margin, not only on the ground, but in the air. The other advantage is that you can put this on a trike and you have a strong cage.
The thrust is what accelerates you forward as opposed to just running forward.
Right. Yeah, you're
and so
doing
the
a power
weight
forward.
really goes onto the cage a lot
Correct.
more.
Yeah, and so to give you a perspective, let me pull this one out. So I'll show you some benefits of having a double ring cage. Let's take the weakest point, which would be right about here, right? And you try to compress that. And you can see it does not want to compress much.
Right.
It's tough.
So like if you were to come in and have a butt landing where you're a little bit off to the side and you hit this more vulnerable part of the cage, this one will hold up to it better.
Very well. There's 3 materials we use primarily. Most of it's aluminum.
Okay.
So all the main pieces are aluminum, and then some of the spacers are plastic to keep the weight down.
Right.
So it's a plastic called Delrin. It's a strong plastic. It also, for example, for these parts here, it acts like a bushing.
Yeah.
So it creates really good lubricity.
Okay.
That's another advantage of it. So it's a tough plastic that holds up well to UV and good temperature resistance.
Right. And just like with other paramotor manufacturers, they'll choose an engine. You went with the Viterazzi Moster 185 Plus here.
So one of the cool things about the frame, I can show you on one of these plates. We're jumping around a lot, and that's good. This is one of the plates we use for where the motor mounts. And if you notice, there's lots of little tiny holes here.
Yeah.
Those are all pilot holes. If you turn it around, these are all the different motors we can do. So the Atom 80 would be these. So you would just take a hand drill and just literally drill out these 4 holes for the Atom 80. You could do these for the Top 80 or these for the Thor.
Is this a paramotor that people get and then they assemble?
Right.
Okay.
So we could do that as a kit or in-house. If someone chooses to put a certain motor on, we just drill those holes.
When somebody wants to order a Moment paramotor, are they just ordering the frame, or do you also help with the sale on the motor as well? Okay.
Yes, motor, prop, harness.
All of these had Dudek power seat comforts or power comfort seats, whatever it's called. And that is an awesome harness.
It is. It's the best harness in the market as far as I'm concerned. There's 3 things.
Okay.
In particular. The first one is the base is super wide.
I see that.
If you look at here's the frame without anything. This is the widest base in the industry. Some of the manufacturers do a triangular base, which is not stable.
Not saying names.
Not saying names, right. But even on sand, even if it's on a very loose surface, this frame is very, very stable.
Right.
Over here, even if it's being rocked hard in a vehicle, it will not tip over.
What's that one called?
The Zenith.
Zenith.
Mine would go straight down, and his kick out with that little angle, and that's what makes it look wider, and it definitely looks longer.
It is definitely longer, yeah.
No, we're talking about the paramotor.
Right. That's what she said. Yeah. The second one that makes it safe for ground start is this bar right down here. Try to move the motor. It's like completely stabilized now. It's not going anywhere. I could put my foot right on this bar and start it up and go to full power, and it will not move.
I know it's not the popular opinion about ground starting.
It is not. It is not. It's a very different thing. And so I built this from the ground up with that in mind.
Okay. What is it that Scout paramotor has? The RPM accelerates too quickly, it'll shut it down.
Right. So one of the things we do is we put a strap on. If this does start up because it's on a clutch, it won't spin.
Right. Okay.
With a ground start, you want to use a secondary strap to hold the prop down and then undo the prop once the motor started. This could go to full throttle, and I can hold it here and it won't go anywhere. That's the second one.
Yeah.
The third one is having a place where your hand can be and not interfere with the kill or throttle.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a lot of units out there that have that, but then there's no easy way to hold it. So this one makes it very, very easy.
Right.
So I've got those 3 just really stabilize this to the ground.
When did you get into paramotoring?
Started in 1998.
Okay.
It's been a while.
So
I'm an OG.
OG, is that like original glider?
Original gangster, man.
1998. It was a lot more common for people to ground start.
It was. In fact, that was my first unit up there. That thing was built for like a small Japanese frame. Daiichi Kosho, I think it was called.
Daiichi Kosho.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that harness, man, it was the most uncomfortable thing ever. You had to like zip it on.
Right.
And like work up all the small zips. And I couldn't breathe in the damn thing. And it had 42 minutes of flight time.
Oh my goodness.
That's it.
This right here is a relic.
It is. Yeah.
This is a paramotor of the 90s.
Right. The pull start was from the side.
Yeah.
And there was just no way.
Wait. So how would you start it?
I had to do ground start.
So you didn't have an option to really start it while it's on your back?
No.
So what if it turned off in the air?
Yeah, you glide.
Y'all were bold and back then to be
Right.
flying something like that.
What does that one weigh?
The Moment?
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of different varieties. This one here is the electric start version.
Check this out, Lee.
Oh yeah, this is cool. What's cool about this is I designed this plate that has all the electronics built into it.
Okay.
And we use a drill battery.
Yeah.
No one else is doing this.
So how many times will this start the engine?
That gives you 20, this will give you 60
That's
starts.
really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. You just get home and you pop it on the charger.
They're designed to be dropped. They're designed to be abused.
What I really like about it is because with the other ones where you can't remove it easily,
Right.
you have to bring your paramotor to the charger as opposed to putting this where you want, popping this off and putting it.
Right. So the way this works is you literally just pop it in and it's ready to go. Now, if I want to kind of disable it, now it's disabled.
You just barely lift it off.
The other thing is we have a master switch, so even if the battery's down, and you go to hit the start button, here, nothing happens.
I noticed that you've got the off-grid aviation throttle. Is that like your premium throttle that you were?
And I like the minimalist feel of it. It's very comfortable.
Right.
No one else in the industry, as far as I know, does this in this easy way. Is that I can access right from my harness. I can access the kill switch right there.
Right.
So most other ones are way under here, and you can't reach them.
Right.
Or they're tucked in way back where the dangerous part. Like, am I in the motor?
Right.
Right here. If I have a problem in flight, or if I just don't want my system active, I can. It's just right there. Super easy to reach.
How much does that weigh total?
This one is about 60. Complete harness with the dual start is 68 pounds. Moster 185 Plus is 63 pounds. And the Atom 80 is 53 pounds.
Wow.
This comes as a kit. And
yeah.
if you see those boxes up there, you can order it completely assembled, or you can order it as a kit.
Okay.
And the kit, it's really, really cool. It's kind of like a Legos for kids.
Yeah.
I can pull one of those boxes down and
Okay.
there you go. It's not very heavy. Got it?
Yep.
How heavy does it feel, Lee?
I don't know, like maybe 30, 40 pounds.
The Moment comes in two varieties. You
Okay.
can have it as a fully assembled or as a kit. And this is the kit version here. You can get an entire paramotor. The only thing we're missing is the harness
Yeah.
and the motor. The motor comes separately. But here's a prop. So it'll be two boxes, one of just the motor and then everything else in this box.
Wow.
And so you could see everything is labeled. Like here's chapter 7 bag. If I'll show you on the manual.
Yeah.
So chapter 7, that's going to be this bag here, and it's going to tell you one of the very first things is find your chapter 7 bag, which is this. It's going to list all the parts. So it is like Legos. And that's all the parts for chapter 7. And each chapter is located and everything is labeled exactly what you need.
That is right. That's what they do with Legos is you find bag 7 and then you follow the
you just follow the directions. And we tried to be really clear in the manual. So everything is color coded and numbered. So like this green 1 shows you the green 1 on the picture here, and there's the orange 2, and you can sort of follow. And so the text and the pictures and the numbers follow each other. It's really easy to build.
I was going to say, like, if you're to be completely honest with somebody and they have no mechanical skills,
I say if you do it slowly, you can get it done in 2 days. If you rush through it, you can do it in 1 day.
See, because I was wondering if it would even be possible for somebody without, like, who's not mechanically inclined.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We provide all the tools, which is like right here. There's a chapter 1.
Yeah.
These are the tools you get.
Oh, wow.
So the cool thing about the Moment, the other thing is that there's no welds. Everything is mechanically fastened with bolts.
Okay.
Bolts and nuts. And that gives a number of advantages. The first one is you can mix dissimilar materials really well. So if you weld, you have to like weld aluminum to aluminum.
Right.
But if I bolt, I can go aluminum, even carbon fiber, plastic, back to aluminum, and kind of you can use the advantage of different materials all together with a bolt. And then the bolt is also steel, so it's strong.
The swing arms have kind of like this this section.
Correct.
Does that add strength?
It does. I noticed on a number of machines, especially ones that had really, really thin arms, that this was a spot that bent a lot.
Okay.
Especially when you were doing aerobatics. And so I put this in here to create enormous strength, and it does. It has another advantage I'll show you later with the trike. So it's a mounting point for the trike that works great.
Okay.
But it adds significant strength to this section.
Yeah.
By putting this piece in here. Yeah, we've done significant testing, and we've done some aerobatics and never bent one of these.
Wow.
They're tough. I wanted to mention one more cool thing about the electric start.
Yeah.
So one of the issues we have on our motors is that the batteries that are used tend to be the low voltage doesn't kick them over very well.
Okay.
So if you like do a 12 volt or even 14 volt, you'll hear the motor struggle on its initial, so it'll go rrr, rrr, and it just doesn't want to start.
Right.
And it's really hard on our starters. I've found that going to the 18 volt, and I'm just going to demonstrate that.
Yeah.
There's no gas in here. Clear prop.
Yeah.
But you can hear that. It wants to fire right out.
Right.
The drawback with 18 volts is it is putting more power to the starter, so you don't want to keep it on there for more than about 3 or 4 seconds.
Okay.
Because you will burn out the starter. I'm hoping that the industry moves to using these drill batteries
Yeah.
as opposed to lipos or lead acids.
Because of the potential for them to catch fire?
Right. This is a different technology. It's a lithium ferride
Yeah.
batteries in here. And the other cool thing about these is they have an internal brain. So they tell you the charge capacity, and when you go to charge them, it knows what to do. And the charger's smart too, and it knows what to do. And they have a fan that keeps them cool. I mean, it's a well-engineered system.
Yeah, sure. So the tank size, how many gallons?
So you can choose between a 9, 12, and an 18. This is a 12.
Is 12 the most common
is.
size that people go
It
with?
is.
What kind of flight time are you looking at with
3
a
hours.
3 hours?
Oh yeah.
That's long.
Yeah.
Do you like to fly that long?
I don't.
See, I'm like a kind of up and down, get my fix kind of
too.
guy. Like I'll
Yeah, I
fly
need
for
half
like
an
30
hour.
minutes.
I need 20 minutes, half an hour, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just
do a
need my
quick fly.
fix. I'm just thinking the craziest cross-country flight I did was in the Bahamas. We had to cross a stretch of water of 20 miles from one island to the other.
Did you have a boat chasing you?
We did.
Okay.
We'd had a boat chasing us, but still, there's nothing else down there. And so we got up to altitude, and the air is kind of hazy.
Yeah.
So once you kind of get up to altitude and you can see the land behind you, and you're like, I can't see the land anymore, and I can't see anything.
Wow.
Like it feels
Ooh.
like you're in the middle of like the Atlantic.
I've always wanted to do a crossing from Newport to Catalina Island or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah, I would do it with a chase boat.
Nah, I like to live on the edge.
Yeah. I found a really lightweight boat you can put in a pocket here.
A boat?
Yeah, it'll handle rapids.
Wow.
That's the boat. Supai Adventure Gear. If you're over major bodies of water, I take a boat.
Does the cartel know about these?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's either that or shark repellent.
Right. We were in Bahamas. There's lots of sharks. I'm like, if we go down, I'm in the boat, you hang on the side.
Or you swim over them and knock them out so they're
Right.
shark bait, and then you swim, or you cut them. Never mind.
So I got to show you a couple other really cool things.
I really like that gold color, by the way. This guy flies gold Paramotors.
Only gold. You can get all these different colors. So this is the standard color. It's $250 edition for the custom color.
$250 for the
Yes.
custom colors.
Right. They look really cool in the light too. If we're on the
bet.
sun, they just shimmer. I want to show you another really cool thing about the Moment. We talked about how this works really well for travel.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put the arms on first.
This is in the back of your car kind of
Correct.
configuration.
Yeah. This is like what I call the second level of travel.
Okay.
The first level is remove the cage. The second level would be to remove these arms. And the third level would be to remove the legs, so you can
Right.
fit it in small suitcases.
Okay.
The entire thing. I'm only showing you like level 1 and 2.
Right. This is essentially how you would travel with it if you owned a sedan and
Right.
the flying field was 30 minutes away. It can go down even smaller than this if you're going to do some like flying
travel.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. I hear if there's any fuel you can't fly with it.
Right. So what I do is I separate the motor to the fuel tank. So just have the fuel tank completely separate, and it looks like just a piece of plastic. They won't even bother it.
Okay.
If it's with the motor, then they'll be like,
They-
what's going on here? And you get all kinds of questions.
There's your pro tip.
I have a whole topic on my website.
What's the website again?
momentparamotor.com. There's a whole area in there about how to travel with a paramotor,
Okay.
including some tips and forms that you can use.
How many times have you traveled
Dozens.
with it? Really?
Dozens of times. There's 3 forms that I recommend. One of them is just a letter of declaration. So it's like you declaring that this is safe for travel.
You've never had it denied.
I have not. That's one. The other one is I totally made up a hazmat form that has Vitarazi on there, and I talk about how it fits all the hazmat. Out of a scale of 0 to 5, it's like all zeros as far as like flammability and safety.
Oh, wow.
The other one that helps is we found this organization called ITAR, I think it's the International Travel Association, and they have described motors being safe for travel. And so I have a copy of that with these documents. So if they're like, it's not safe, I'm like, well, even the International Transport Association is saying it. Right. Again, these are all on my website.
Which is what?
momentparamotor.com.
I've heard that if you're driving across the border with a paramotor, have there historically been some complications?
Yeah. It's bad. All they want to do is they want to tax the hell out of you, 20 to 30%.
A tax?
I know what you're saying. I grew up in the third world and I sort of know how to. I grew up in Venezuela and I know how to like grease that paperwork if you need to. So this was designed from the ground up to be fantastic for travel. So I'm going to show you real quick how these arms kind of go right on. There's one. And they take this locking pin. It's got a little triangle on there that locks it in, and you put this right in here.
Is this the only paramotor with this sort of design?
Yes, I designed this. So these pins are a patented system that are designed to lock.
Okay.
They use a little triangle piece, and they're a locking system.
There's like a tiny little thing that locks it in. That's really cool. Let's see if an Anthony can do it.
Your bad arm?
With my bad arm. You've got different positions where you can...
So this is designed for lighter pilots up here and heavier pilots.
Oh, I would be over here. Chunky Britney Spears over here.
Next, I'm going to show you how the cage.
We're going to time them on this. Go!
Okay, so this bag here keeps all the components for the cage. We're going to take the packing pieces off.
Oh, that's cool.
That's locked.
It's got these pins.
Pull this pin out. Now it's locked. You can take this cage here, make sure the netting is on the front.
Okay.
I'm going to take these two top pieces here, snap off the lower one, and it goes right to here. Take these two up here, and then this last one goes right in here. Okay, now we've got that part done. We're going to get the netting tightened up. Bring this through this hole here. There's one, and we're going to put the lock on there. Next, I'm going to start tightening everything up. The cool thing about this netting is that instead of having clips holding the whole thing together, that's what this does down here. This is just one system to hold the entire net.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go to the inner ones. No one else is doing this design. I invented this.
Wow.
Next, I'm going to tighten these side ones. Okay, two more things, and then I'm done. I'm just going to make sure that all these are nice and kind of even. Good. Now I'm going to tighten this up one more time here. Got a little bit more on that one. Yep, a lot more on that side. Okay, last thing is we're going to do this tighten up right up here. And that last one is really tight. There it is.
I'm going to stop.
Yep.
Oh, 5 minutes on the dot. 5 minutes, 0.49 seconds with him explaining what he's doing through it.
I could get this down into 2 minutes.
I bet.
In under 2 minutes.
Yeah, I bet. No, that's really fast. The torque compensation, you 3D print all of the torque compensation fins.
It's really, really cool. That's really where I came up with the name Moment.
Okay.
Is using these fins. The original fins out here, they act like levers. And so they are like the moment of a lever. You look at physics terms. The easiest way to think about this is that imagine this is spinning really, really fast, right?
Okay.
And you know, if you have like your hand out of a window here, you have a lot of drag on this tip.
Right.
So even though this is just a little bit, if it's doing 300 miles an hour, there's a lot of drag.
Yeah.
And drag, you know, you can feel it. If you put your hand out of the window, you know that the motor has to work extra hard because the air is being held back with this. So the motor, so when this is spinning, the motor's pushing really, really hard, extra hard this way.
Yeah.
So the drag is pushing this way, it has to push extra hard this way, which creates a torque going off this direction. Huh. So the motor wants to torque because of that drag on
like scooping in the water, like it's gonna,
Right.
I'm trying to be smart.
So what these guys do is the incoming air from the prop.
Yeah.
These are all like little wings.
Okay.
So it creates lift in the opposite direction.
Huh.
So you've got the motor that's wanting to push extra hard this way, which is creating torque in the opposite direction, which is pushing it this way.
Right.
When the air comes over these, it creates an opposite force. You have the torque going this way, the lift from these wings goes this way and it cancels out the torque.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And they work.
Yeah.
They're like surprisingly good.
Right.
We've tested it. I mean, you can go to idle, you go to mid throttle, you go to full throttle, and you continue to fly straight.
Wow.
You can feel the motor sort of moving a little bit on you, but you continue to fly straight. Without these, you notice a definite turn in the opposite direction.
Right. Why have a boat if we're in the middle of the desert?
There are lakes out here. In fact, Arizona has, I think, several hundred lakes. I'm into kites and I'm into sailboats. I've pulled from a lot of different technologies. This is from the sailing world. It's called a cam cleat or a clam cleat, sometimes we'll call that. And it's a way of holding a rope tight and being able to loosen it quickly. And even under vibration or humidity, it will not loosen.
These sorts of kites.
Correct.
Wow, that's really neat.
Anything to do with air. Other than RC, I haven't got into the RC world.
But then why do you have RC?
You know, my friend Jack over there, Jack built both of those planes up there.
It's true, yes.
Jack built the helicopter up there and also that warplane.
Or with Discovery Channel. No, I'm kidding.
Well, it's the Paramotor Discovery Channel.
I'm doing good.
Anthony, nice to meet you.
Dennis.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Nice to meet you too.
We drove down from El Paso, Deming area.
Just to see him?
Can you believe it? You got a lot of people that come to just hang out with you.
Right, I know, all these groupies.
Go.
You build these parts here, you build the paramotors here in this shop.
Right. So I have a machine shop in one of the containers. You want to take a look at that?
Yeah, I'd love to.
So I start off over here. This is where I spend probably most of my time on my computer and my 3D printer. Just yesterday we designed this part. I use a program called Design Spark Mechanical, and then the 3D printer allows me to do rapid prototypes. This is a perfect example right here. I was looking at the way the harness is attached to the frame. So this was my first iteration was, version 1, and I worked all the way up to version 12. This is version 13. You pull this pin, and then the harness can come right off.
Oh, wow.
So it's a quick release for a harness. It's completely backwards compatible.
Okay, wow. How long would it take to take the harness off?
The way it currently is, it probably takes 20 minutes.
With one of these?
10 seconds.
Oh, wow.
I want it to be able to be taken apart easily and travel well.
All right, the machine shop.
Right, let's go take a look. All kinds of eye candy today. You guys are really getting the...
The grand tour.
Exactly.
Does this stay cool in the summer months?
Little air conditioner does the trick.
Wow, look at
We
this.
do a lot of our work in here.
Wow.
We have a couple of roll benders here.
Yeah.
This is the coolest machine. Built this a few years ago. A friend of mine in Tucson helped me build this. It's a precision drilling for holes in tubing. Of course that fell.
Bandsaw, belt sander.
What's that thing right there?
Espresso. It makes me really jittery, yeah. Let's look at the trike next. This might be one to do at the field. If you want to fly it, you're welcome to.
I will love to watch.
Okay. Have you flown trikes?
Yes. It's not my pelt, it's my arm.
Right. Can you do this?
See, he's trying to talk me into it.
I'm gonna twist your arm.
Okay. I'll fly.
Let me show you this cool trike at the field. We're gonna go set it up and go fly.
Transport to the future.